Hello guys, welcome to our podcast. How are you today? I hope you always be fine and has a good day. By the way, I'd like to introduce my friends in English group of 12. The first one, there's Fitrie Masykuri, the only one boy in the group. Then there's Karin Rizky, there Rizny Putri Mentayani, there's Wulandari and myself Salsabila. On this occasion of the podcast aimed at fulfilling an English lecture, we will discuss one of the mental health disorder. You know what is that? Okay, we will talk about eating disorder. Come on, let's talk about what is the eating disorder.
Hello everyone, it's me, Fitrie Masykuri, and I'm here to talk about mental health. Do you guys know that mental health is important as much as physical health? If you don't know, here I am to explain it to you. What is mental health? Mental health includes our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It affects how we think, feel, and act. It also helps determine how we handle stress, relate to others, and make healthy choices. Mental health is important at every stage of life, from childhood through adulthood. Although the terms are often used interchangeably, mental health and mental illness are not the same. A person can experience poor mental health and not be diagnosed with a mental illness. Likewise, a person diagnosed with a mental illness can experience periods of physical, mental, and social well-being. Why is mental health important for overall health? Mental and physical health are equally important components of overall health. For example, depression increases the risk for many types of physical health problems, particularly long-lasting conditions like diabetes, heart disease, and stroke. Similarly, the presence of chronic condition can increase the risk for mental illness. Can your mental health change over time? Yes, it's important to remember that a person's mental health can change over time, depending on many factors. When the demands placed on a person exceeds their resources and coping abilities, their mental health could be impacted. For example, if someone is working long hours, caring for a relative, or experiencing economic hardship, they may experience poor mental health.
When we talk about mental health issue, most of us think that it's just about depression and anxiety. Well, in fact, a mental health issue is not just about that. There are nearly 300 types of psychological illness or mental disorders listed in the DSM-5, Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. And one of them is eating disorders. What is eating disorders? Some of us might be familiar with this topic, but some might not. So, let's learn about it together. An eating disorder is a mental health condition where you use the control of food to cope with feelings and other situations. They can be very serious conditions affecting physical, psychological, and social function. Eating disorders affect up to 5% of the population, most often develop in adolescence and young adulthood. Eating disorders are often associated with preoccupation with food, weight, or shape, or with anxiety about eating or the consequences of eating certain foods. Behaviors associated with eating disorders include restrictive eating or avoidance of certain food, binge eating, purging by vomiting or laxative measures, or compulsive exercise. These behaviors can become driven in ways that appear similar to an addiction. Eating disorders often co-occur with other psychiatric disorders, most commonly mood and anxiety disorders, obsessive-compulsive disorder, and alcohol and drug abuse problems. Evidence suggests that genes and heritability play a part in why some people are at higher risk for an eating disorder. But these disorders can also afflict those with no family history of the condition. However, with the proper medical care, those with eating disorders can resume healthy eating habits and recover their emotional and psychological health.
Hello guys, It's me, Wulandari. Okay, next, talking about mental health, namely eating disorders. This time I will discuss the spectrum of eating disorder. The majority of experts believe that there are four main factors that can cause a person to experience an eating disorder. Number one, physiology factor. In this case, the physiology factor consists of being too perfectionist, which causes a person to have too high expansion of himself. Dissatisfaction with the body image and anxiety disorders. Number two, biology factors. From a biological point of view, conditions from within the body such as hormones, nutritional deficiencies, and others. Number three, environmental factor. This can be underestimated because in some cases it can be the initial trigger for eating disorders. There are some real examples from this environmental factor, such as stigma about weight, ridicule from people around about weight. Number 4. Genetic factors. In this case, a study even states that a person who is familiar with eating disorders has a higher rate of experiencing eating disorders as well. So, those are the four main factors for mental health eating disorders.
Hello guys, I'm Salsabila. On this part, I will talk about symptoms of eating disorders. Now, after we talk about what's eating disorder and cause it, we will find out what symptoms include signs of eating disorder. Here are the symptoms of eating disorder. Number 1. Eat in large amounts of time such as a 2-hour period. Number 2. Eat much faster than normal people. Number 3. Eat until you feel overfed and uncomfortable in your stomach. Number 4. Eat large portion even though you're not hungry. Number 5. Eat in secret because of shame about how much they eat. Number 6. Disgust, depression, shame, resentment, or self-loathing after a meal. Number 7. Frequent dieting, whether it is difficult to maintain a diet and lose weight. Number 8. Store up food. Number 9. Being sensitive, upset, or angry when talking about food or hearing about body shaming. And the last one is have low feelings of anxiety, helplessness, and confidence.
After knowing the meaning, causes, and symptoms of eating disorders from my friends, this time I will explain what are the types of eating disorders. The first is bulimia nervosa. Bulimia nervosa is an eating disorder in which the sufferer eats excessively, then wants to immediately throw away the food he is consuming in an unhealthy way. The second is anorexia nervosa. Anorexia nervosa is an eating disorder characterized by being underweight and a fear of gaining weight. This makes sufferers limit food intake because they feel that they are overweight, even though in reality their bodies are already slender or even too thin. The third is overeating disorder. Overeating disorder or binge eating disorder is characterized by the behavior of eating quickly and in very large portions, even though you are not hungry or even very full. As a result, people with this disorder are overweight or obese.
Okay, that's what we are telling you about eating disorders on the podcast this time. Hopefully, it will burden all of us to know of the importance of being aware of mental health. Please leave the track, critics, and suggestion in the comments box below. And don't forget to like